I always knew I was going to come here for college because the States is viewed as this land of opportunity because of the wealth.
Welcome back to this episode of Trojan Time. I'm your host, Cole Arndorfer. Today, we sit down with international student Andrew Curry to talk about his experiences growing up in Lebanon, his move to HLGU, and the cultural differences between the two. So don't go anywhere. That interview starts now. Welcome, Andrew.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here. So to start us off, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So I am from Beirut, Lebanon. I grew up there. And a lot of my identity comes from who my parents are. They're missionaries. And they serve in Lebanon. And they built a church there. And so growing up, I was always involved in the church, helping out my parents. And that's how my identity developed. I started seeking out the Lord, going to church throughout my childhood. And that's a lot of who I am now, is a follower of God.
Yeah. So what's it like growing up in a country that's not predominantly Christian?
Yeah, so actually Lebanon was founded originally on a Christian basis, but percentage-wise, it is not majority Christian. The majority is Muslim. So Lebanon is very diverse. There are 16 total religions in Lebanon, actually. So you have a lot of different representing groups. And then in Beirut, the capital, there's 1.2 million people. And that's kind of hard to grasp, being in Hannibal, Missouri, of 17,000 population. But certain areas of the city are designated for those religious groups. And so it is kind of crammed, but it's a very unique, diverse city.
Yeah. So tell us a little about growing up in such a big city. What was life like for you there?
Yeah. So I have a lot of diverse friends from all different backgrounds. And as growing up, we didn't really categorize people that way. We just knew them as friends. Didn't matter what religion you came from. You had friends of all different backgrounds, different religions. And as you start growing up, you see those differences. And that's where it becomes kind of, do I want to hang out with these people? But, that wasn't a big issue. Like I said, the city is kind of crowded. So the streets are very chaotic. You have these mopeds always maneuvering within traffic, and it's kind of entertaining to watch because they're kind of skilled. And the lower class, actually, of the people living in Beirut, a lot of times you'll see whole families on motorcycles because they can't afford a car. And that's a sight to see, because you have the dad with his child in front of him on this little moped, and then his wife with 3 other kids are behind them cruising around. No helmets, no safety precautions, nothing. And that's an interesting sight.
Just rolling on vibes there.
Yeah.
So you here at HLG, you play soccer. So what does soccer look like back in Lebanon versus how it looks here in the States?
Yeah, so in Lebanon, like Europe as well, Europe has kind of the same system with sports. It's either you focus on sports or you focus on your education. And so there's a huge emphasis on club soccer in Lebanon. So that's what I was involved in throughout my childhood. I also did go to school, obviously. And then at a certain stage, I stopped going to the club soccer. But it is split. And that's the biggest difference between Lebanon and Europe and the States. The States, they kind of integrate sports within the schools and college. And so, I would say it's more difficult there to play soccer because you have people that focus solely on the sport. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest difference, I would say, with sports.
That's totally different from here because obviously, we have integrated schools that have their own sports teams, but so there they don't have that at all.
Yeah, if there's a school team, it's just there for fun.
Yeah, more like a club, not like a actual team, just guys around kicking the soccer ball.
Just messing around, knowing that they're not gonna use the sport for a long-term goal or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, what was your decision like to decide to come to America to go to college?
Yeah, so I always knew I was going to come here for college because the States is viewed as this land of opportunity because of the wealth here, I guess, and the U.S. currency is a worldwide currency, and so they are dominant on the economic stage, and so a lot of people want to travel to the West to find success, and so I'm privileged because I have dual citizenship, so it was guaranteed that I was going to go and study in the States, continue my education, and find work.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. So, upon graduating high school, I was looking at schools in the States, and yeah.
Nice. So, have you ever been to America before coming here to college, or just then?
Yeah, so my mom is actually fully American, so she has family in the States, and we visited multiple times before I came to study in college. So, yeah, we actually did multiple road trips as well. So I've seen quite a bit of the United States.
Nice. So did you speak English before, or did you just speak Arabic?
Yeah, since my mom is fully American, she spoke to us in English in the household, and that was the kind of the main language spoken in the household, and that's why I'm so fluent and comfortable in English.
That's awesome. So how did you decide that Hannibal-LaGrange was the spot for you to come to college?
Yeah, so the decision to come to Hannibal-LaGrange, well, to Missouri, goes back to 2017 when my family came to the States for a 1-year furlough. So a 1-year break from being missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially my parents were like, we'll go anywhere but Missouri. And then a house and a car opened up, and the Lord was calling us to Missouri, and that's where we ended up for a year. And so that kind of became our home state. And so that's why I came here. My 2 older brothers also went to school in Missouri. Mm-hmm. How I found Hannibal is a different story. My older brother, was doing an internship with the chemical company here, BASF, I believe. And I was like, why not be close to my brother? So I started searching for schools within the region. Mm-hmm. And I found this school, Christian College. My mom was like, yes, for sure. You should go there. The Lord is calling you there. And so that's when I applied, reached out to the soccer coach, and he offered me a scholarship right off the bat, which was a huge mistake on his part because he hadn't seen me play. I didn't send any footage. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a scholarship, 6'3", you're a defender, come on in. And so I felt like the Lord was calling me here.
Nice. How has the difference in coaching been like since you started with Coach Erskine and now you have Coach Almeida?
I would say I learned a lot from both coaches. Coach Almeida coming in, he has a lot of energy and has a vision. And so that energy I really liked. And I think he leads by example. Coach Almeida leads by example. And his favorite quote is baby steps. And so just a great example of what it means to work hard and seek to achieve your goals. I can talk about Erskine as well. Erskine had a lot of knowledge. He had a lot of experience. And you would have to approach him if you wanted advice. But when you approached him and asked him, he would give you the spot-on information you needed to continue playing. And so he's kept me in the sport. So, yeah, that's good.
Good. Is there anyone on campus who supported you the most when you first got here?
Yeah. So I think coming in, playing a sport really helped because I had a team. I had someone to hang out with and be around. When you work with teammates and you go through struggles together, that bonds you even more. So I had that bond with the soccer team. So that really helped me. I also had a lot of mentors above me, seniors upon coming in as a freshman that also showed me the ropes and taught me a lot. And I think the willingness that they showed just to be with me, just to spend time with me, answer questions or see their daily life really helped me implement the habits that I wanted to have in college, and that gave me the discipline and success. Well, not the success, but but that helped me a lot.
Good.
So there were those people.
Yeah. knowing about American culture coming in, you weren't coming in just cold turkey. What are some of the biggest culture differences between Lebanon and the States?
Yeah, so I use the term hot climate cultures and cold climate cultures a lot because it really defines and hits the nail on the head for the two types of cultures that differ between Lebanon and America. And the hot climate cultures are more group identity and the feel-good atmosphere, and then the cold climate cultures are more individualistic. So, in my own experience, the differences in cultures, experiencing it from my perspective, I'll share a bit about that. But upon coming in as a freshman, I always wanted to maintain the feel-good atmosphere. So whenever anyone asked me to do something or suggested something, I'd always say, yes, of course I'll do that. But inside I'm like, maybe not. I probably don't want to do that. But growing up in Lebanon, that's how you did it. And so despite what I felt on the inside, I was like, yeah, I'll do that on the outside just to maintain that feel-good atmosphere. But spending 3 years here, I witnessed a lot of purely American people go about their business, and if they don't want to do something, they'll openly say it.
They'll let you know.
They'll let you know. It's like no hesitation on their end. Like, you want to go do this? No, I don't have time for that. My schedule doesn't allow it. I'm busy. So they're very direct, and that's something I've learned, and it is useful.
Yeah. Do you ever find yourself missing home at all, wanting to go back to Lebanon?
Yeah, for sure. I would say it's the people that make a place significant. So I would definitely say I miss my friends there, and obviously my parents are still there. I miss them. But having social media, having access to video calls and audio calls helped a lot. Whenever you feel homesick, you can just pull out your phone and call them and talk to them. So I would say that minimized a missing home and kept me concentrated on my tasks that were in front of me. Yeah. So not so much, I would say, because of social media and the access to online calls.
How do you try to balance the American culture with still trying to be part of your Lebanese culture, all that kind of stuff?
Spending years here, gaining experience in this culture has really helped me balance the two sides. And I would say that there is a sweet spot for having both cultures. So I feel like I am people-oriented. So that's a positive, I would say, that I got from growing up in a culture that had the group identity. So I'm aware of the needs of others. At the same time, spending time here in college here in the States, having the individualistic culture also has made me learn that I need to prioritize my current needs so that in turn I can help others.
Kind of a best of both worlds kind of thing.
Right, exactly. And I think there is that sweet spot.
Yeah.
That's good.
So getting down to the last couple of questions here, what's your favorite memory that you've had at HLGU?
Yeah, I would say my favorite memory has to do with people as well. So I feel like it's kind of cliche. But I would say my sophomore year, I had a group of friends, Marco Chema, shout out to them, just walking out of the CAF one day, and there was a beautiful sunset. And we were just strolling along, cracking jokes. And that memory stuck with me. And every single time I walk down that sidewalk, I remember that, and I get nostalgic. So I would say that is my favorite memory. It's a special one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
So you are a senior and you're an exercise science major. So what are some plans for after graduation? Grad school, staying here in the States, getting a job?
Yeah. So my plan A for upon graduating is going to Columbia, actually, to Mizzou for a doctor program, DPT program. That's my next step is continuing education, which is kind of it's going to be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to work hard and really learn the nuances of physical therapy and what that entails, so I can help others. So I'm looking forward to that. So that is my next step, going into DPT school.
Yeah. So the ultimate goal with that is physical therapy, correct?
Correct. DPT is Doctorate of Physical Therapy.
Nice. All right. That's all I have for you. Do you have anything else to add to any of it?
No. Thank you again for taking the time to ask questions. And yeah.
Of course. Thanks for being here with us today. We really appreciated being able to talk to you.
All right. Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Trojan Time. Thanks to Andrew for coming on and sharing his story with us. Tune in next time for another inside look at the Trojans of Hannibal LaGrange. Until then, I've been your host, Cole Arndorfer. Have a good day.